Hi guys, so right now I'm on my way to pick up a special guest to appear in today's video. This man really, his credentials really should require no introduction, especially this day and age. Today he is quite well known his channel is quite popular in YouTube, but even before his claim to fame in his channel, this guy has already blazed very lengthy trails in the automotive industry. He's a 5-time Malaysian Rally Champion. He's got 3 decades of experience working in the automotive industry, covering various aspects of the industry. So he didn't just work one job, but he worked several different roles in the automotive industry, and before finally joining the media line. Okay, so and I've also had the pleasure of working together with him once upon a time, and yeah, I count him as one of the more important influences in my working life. Okay, and the person I'm talking about is, of course, none other than Mr. YS Khong. Okay, whose channel YS Khong Driving now has grown immensely in terms of popularity. All right, and so the reason why I'm speaking with him today is to catch up with him, of course, and pick up. Okay, so his channel has grown immensely in popularity in recent months, and the reason why I'm speaking with him today is really to catch up with him and to tell his story, because because YS has such a wealth of experience in the automotive industry, and he has been through so much, he has seen so much, he has accomplished so much, yet he remains as motivated as ever to stay relevant and keep on learning and better himself. Okay, so without further ado, I am going to turn in to his road and welcome him on board.
Good.
Welcome on board. Thank you for doing this with us. You are on
Already?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, come on. You are already you should be second nature to you already. So anyways, just now before you came on board, I've already introduced, give a bit of intro to who you are, but which actually I shouldn't need to, because your name speaks for itself already. And to repeat myself, the whole purpose of me doing this video is to tell your story of how you have accomplished much in life, yet you still stay motivated, you are still hungry to achieve more, to learn more. And the message to the young chikus out there watching this, you guys really have no excuse after you hear what he has gone through and what he is still doing every day to make himself better. So YS, how did life begin for YS Khong?
Life was pretty simple when you're young.
Yeah.
You just grow up and things actually go by you.
Yep.
I have vague memories of the Merdeka. When they were all across from where I was in the shop. And I remember crying because the guy didn't take me there. And then I remember that the next day there was a lot of this paraphernalia lying on the floors. The Merdeka badges, and they were cheap plastic ones. But I never kept any.
Okay.
I'm still young to know anything about value of things that are old.
Yes. Wow, imagine if, let's say, you have kept those now, they would have been quite valuable collectibles now, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
The museums would love it.
Maybe I'm a collectible.
In a way you are. So actually, right, guys, some of the things that I'm asking him right now, YS has already told me in years before. I've known you for 10 years already,
right?
But I'm still asking him right now in front of camera, just to get this on record and just to share the story with you guys. So The other thing is that I know that family life started for you very young. You became a husband very young. You became a father very young.
Yes.
How old were you when you first became a father?
I was about 18 plus.
You were 18 and you were a father.
Yes.
Damn. See, right now I'm 36. My second daughter is just born.
My son will be 18 years old.
Yeah, you already sent your son to SBM already. You know, wow. So the question
Actually,
is,
he went to university at the age of 18.
so the thing is that, right, a lot of people in our era now, right, they say that, you know, they want to wait for, they like to marry late in order to, they want to achieve stability and all before getting married. But your perspective, right, how did marrying early and starting a family early affect your life? Did you find it, I mean, in hindsight, did you find it a burden or did you find it a blessing?
Well, when you are struggling, it's always hard, you know, but the chances of my marriage succeeding at that time was about 5%. Yeah. So I knew that fact. I read the fact. Yeah. And then I made up my mind that I was going to make mine last. And
he's still on track to keep that promise.
Yes, still with the same wife.
Yes.
And in hindsight, you look at it when your kids are all independent and grown up, you don't have to worry about them anymore. So right now, I don't have to worry about my kids. Yep. And let's say if I cannot work at all, I won't starve. Yeah. Because my kids are big. Yeah. I don't have to worry about them getting an education, things like that. Yeah. So my youngest is a little bit younger than you.
yes. That's one thing, and so that's a bit of your family life. We don't want to talk too much about your family life for privacy reasons. So let's come to your working life. You were married at 18. Did you start working at the same time?
Well, my wife was working first and she helped to put me through school. But I was, from the age of 14, I've been working part-time to put myself through school. And so I was actually earning money when I was young.
What was your first job?
Tractor driver.
At 14 years old?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I remember a time when I was 15. So maybe some of the old folks in Kuala Pilah can remember. I was digging a trench in Kuala Pilah to lay. At that time, they had overhead wires. So we were laying the cables to make underground wires for the lights.
My God. Now I feel so useless, man. At 14 years old, a lot of us people would have just
I was 15 then.
Yeah, playing marbles, playing gully and all that. Our friend here is already driving a tractor.
Yeah, and mine was a backhoe, the one with the shovel in the front and the digger at the back.
Yes.
So I was in the middle of the town, and I was digging the tarmac up, a small trench to plant the cable. And the whole town came out to watch this little fella. And I couldn't reach the pedals, the levers. So, and it was very back breaking. So what I did was I leaned back on the seat and I used my feet. So I was operating the 4 levers to dig using my feet.
You really learned how to wing it right from then. Hey, do you still remember how to operate one of those things?
Yes, I do.
If I put you in a construction site, you will be able to.
Yeah, just give me 5-10 minutes to familiarize myself with the controls of the vehicle. Then from then on, I moved on to excavators. You know, the ones on tracks.
Yes.
And I learned how to drive a bulldozer. The shovel.
Basically, you drive anything that moves, lah.
Yep.
But what was your first full-time job after you finished studying?
After I finished studying, I came to KL. And became a full-time tractor driver.
So you had a long time with dealing with heavy machineries.
Yes.
How did you get into cars then?
From a very young age, I loved cars, and I tried to drive my first car when I was about 8 years old.
Okay.
I remember it was a Mini Countryman.
Okay.
But the Mini Countryman is not like the Mini Countryman you see today.
No, it's not. It's not.
Imagine a Mini, the old Mini, with a with a station wagon back.
Yes.
It was, I think it was called an Austin 7 at the time.
Ah, yes.
The Traveller.
Ah, yes. That's right.
And of course, it was a manual. I knew how to start.
Yeah.
And I knew how to put it into gear.
Yes.
But I didn't release the clutch properly, and the engine died.
Well, it happens to all of us.
Actually, it was my brother's car. He was a contractor. He went to the JKR office.
Yeah.
Those days, it was called the PWD.
Correct. Public Works Department.
Yeah.
Right.
And he went for a meeting.
Yeah.
And he left me in the car. My brothers do that all the time. They like to take me around.
Yeah.
And then they leave me in the car.
You and your brothers have very big age gap, right? You said you were 8, but your brother was already a contractor driving a Mini at that time.
That brother would have been his gap to me would be about 14 years.
Oh, okay.
Because people started work young. Those days. And he had a Mini at the time. And so I remember it was blue. And I attempted my first driving on that car, and the engine died. Then later he didn't do so well. Another brother got a Austin A40. It was an old black monster, and then he bought the car for 200 ringgit.
Wow, 200 ringgit.
Those days we used to call it $1 lah. And after a while, the clutch kind of failed.
Oh,
and that's another brother. He wasn't doing so well. And so those days people don't fix clutches. They just throw away. He bought the car second hand for 200 ringgit.
But 200 ringgit was still quite
I think the clutch
money,
job would have cost maybe 50 ringgit in those days. And that's one quarter of the value of the car. So well, for some reason he didn't fix it, so he was driving it without the clutch.
Wow. Okay.
So he'll park it on a slope, and then it'll be in neutral. He'll start it, then let it roll a bit down the hill and put it into gear.
Oh, wow.
Clutchless changing. And then when he changes gear, he revs it up, and then he waits for that sweet moment when you lift off, then he snatches a second and third and fourth.
Wow, that is skill, man.
Yeah. So I also learned how to drive like that.
Wow. so then we still come back to the question: how did you go from tractors to working in the car industry? Because a lot of people like cars, but not a lot of people are fortunate like us to have the opportunity to work in this industry.
Well, from a tractor driver, I became a tractor driver because it paid better than being a clerk in a what you call a commercial company. So then from there, I moved on to try to go into tractor sales. So I was working for a contractor, and then there was this salesman from the John Deere backhoe company.
Yes, John Deere, yes.
And he came to see my boss, and then my boss said, bring your tractor. In those days they have demonstrators. They bring the machine, then you try it out. If it's good, you buy. So they brought a demonstrator with the tractor, and I looked at the control system and all, and 15 minutes later I was operating the machine better than his demonstrator. And so a couple of days later, the sales manager, his name is Cherry Matthews, he was an ex-JKR engineer. He joined that company, and then he talked to me, and then one day he came a few times. Then one day he asked me, Khong, can I ask you a question? Sure. I noticed your English is very good. And I also noticed you're driving the tractor and you drive it very well. It doesn't jive. Most tractor drivers don't speak English like you do. So I said, well, he wanted to know my education level. At that time, I just done my high school,
which is the equivalent of today's SPM lah.
HSC. The one
high school certificate. Right.
Which is higher than SPM.
Oh, it would be equivalent to today's STPM.
Yes, that's right.
All right.
So I said, then why is it you're not going for further studies? I said, because I have a family to feed and I got no money to go for studies.
Oh, you already took up that time you were married already, right? Yes.
So I told him I'm interested to be a salesperson because I know that salesmen, the few salesmen that came to see us, all had cars, they were dressed well, they had money.
Yep.
Yeah, so and I also did some checking how much they are paid, the rough scale. At that time it was like 450.
Which is decent money in those days.
Yeah, decent
right?
money. And that's just the pay because they also get commission based on sales. So he said, sure. And then I said, but I got to wait because at that time there was some problem with my citizenship papers and all because of a spelling error. So I had to wait for it to be done. And I told him I need to wait. He said, okay, the moment you're done, you come. So a few months later, I went to see him, and then he got me to fill in the form. Then he expressed some shock. You're so young.
How young were you at the time?
20.
20.
So then his boss, Mr. Jeff Perry, interviewed me, and I had to fight to get the job. He said,
of course,
this is just the gist of it. You know, I can't take you in at 450. But I'll give you 150 ringgit to give it a try.
150 ringgit?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said, Mr. Perry, I have a family to feed. And as a tractor driver, I was earning 450. So, you know, at least I should get the equivalent. They said, no, young man. I mean, this is a sales job. You know, there you are, fresh from school. You have no sales experience. Yeah, granted, you can drive a tractor, but that doesn't mean you can sell. We're looking for salespeople.
Okay.
And let's put it this way, young man. I'm in the lifeboat. These are his exact words. And you are in the water. You are saying, let me into the boat. Because you say you can paddle.
Okay.
And I don't even know if you can paddle. The guy looks at me.
That's an interesting metaphor.
And I said, Mr. Perry, if you don't give me a hand into that lifeboat, you will never know if I can paddle. Then he
Good comeback. And
he said, all right, tell you what, can you wait for us outside? I want to talk to Cherry. So I went outside and chit-chat with his secretary. Very nice lady, I can't remember her name, but after about 10 minutes, they called me in. All right, young man, what you said is very impressive. I'll give you $300.
I think that moment, right, he was actually testing your selling skills, and you demonstrated your selling skills.
I don't know what happened.
Right there.
I don't know what happened, but I told him that, and then he said, I'll give you 300. Then I said, how about 350? No. Okay, I'll take it.
You got yourself a deal.
Nice. I was trying for a bit more. I was fishing for a bit more.
Of course, ma.
But I was okay with 300.
It's fair game to always try luck for a better deal.
So, I was there for about 4.5 months, and then some other company wanted to take over the franchise, and the franchise was under threat because this company didn't do very well with it. And prior to my joining the company, they only sold one of the backhoes in the last 8 months. Okay. I sold 5.
Wow!
In the 4 months that I was there.
Well, you earn the extra 150 that you demanded for.
So anyway, I went and joined another company, and they took me in straight away. So that was. But the interesting thing was how I had to fight to get my first job. Because I had no credentials.
But that's the nature of the working world, right? Because if you don't have a track record, you have to
impress somebody somehow.
And prove yourself somehow.
But it was actually spontaneous. I didn't plan any of that. I didn't know what he was going to say. But 4 years later, I hit supervisory level. And then another 3 years later, I was in management. So, and by the time we hit 79, I was in top management for a heavy equipment company, responsible for $60 million worth of sales.
That time were you 30 already at the time? Not yet.
So I learned all there was to learn. Even as a salesman, I would be studying all the competitors' leaflets. The way I sold was always to sell on how to make money for the customer, rather than buy my machine.
Yes.
How this machine can change the way you do things. And I was selling concept, so it was quite technical in terms of selling concept, and then also selling the business part of it to show them the viability and all that. So it's very different from selling a car. When you sell a car, you have to appeal to the emotions.
Correct.
Like all the power and torque figures, road handling, all that appeals to the ego.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. People want 200 horsepower, not because they can use it, but because it's there.
So do you ever become a car salesman before? Were you ever a car salesman before?
Yes and no. I never joined a car company as a salesman, because the first time I joined a car company, I was in charge of the racing team.
And that brings us to the most exciting phase of YS's life.